Mailbag time here on the channel. I'm answering questions during our live show, which airs every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, as Derek Pow. If the Browns don't bring Nick Chubb back for whatever reason, should they pursue Saquon Barkley? Interesting thought. Bring in Saquon Barkley. Now, let me first start answering this question by talking about whether or not Nick Chubb is going to come back in 2024. He is under contract, but it's a hefty cap hit, and coming off a knee injury like this one, there is a potential that the Browns were to move on from Chubb. And I know Andrew Berry, during his press conference, said that he wants Nick Chubb to come back, and he does not want to see Nick Chubb's last carry as a Cleveland Brown be the carry in Pittsburgh. But then I think about what Andrew Berry said in January of 2022 when he told the media, I fully expect Baker Mayfield to return as our starter. And we know how that aged. So there is a possibility that the Browns ultimately decide business-wise they just can't really find a way to bring Chubb back. And if that's the case, maybe they could sign Saquon Barkley. Luckily, he's a free agent, so you don't have to trade for him. But he had 962 yards, 6 touchdowns this past season. He hasn't really been the big play factor the Giants were hoping for in 2023 after a strong 2022 season, which ultimately landed him getting a franchise tag. If you could find a way to sign Saquon Barkley for a 1-year, $7 to $9 million contract, I'm in. I can get behind adding Saquon Barkley for 1 year, under $10 million, right? You're going to pay another running back potentially $4 to $5 million. I don't like this running back draft class. I'll tell you that much. Like, Blake Corum is one of the best running back in this draft class, tore his ACL in November. That should scare the bejesus out of you. Like, Nick Chubb, it worked out well for him, but I don't think that's the thing you want to bank on every single year. So if you could sign Saquon to a cheaper deal, toss him into an offense with Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper, and David Njoku, and let's roll, baby. Now, let me know, would you sign Barkley as a plan B, right? Plan A is Nick Chubb rehabs well, they figure out the contract stuff, and they bring him back. That is what all of us want to see happen. But if the rehab doesn't go well, and if they can't figure out the contract stuff, and the business side ultimately takes over, it'll be a sad day. There's no question about it. But we do have to prepare for that world, because I don't think that's a long shot to happen. So let me know, would you want Barkley to return, come in as plan B? Yes or no? $2 super chat from Josh, top 5 breakfast foods. Let's say this one for the end because I'm going to think about this for a while. So we'll come back to this one, Josh. Ty, man, how long will we be able to keep Chubb, Watson, and Garrett? Nick Chubb is under contract for 2024. Now, they could go a handful of directions. They could simply let him play out the last year of his deal. They could release him. Or they could actually extend him to lower his 2024 cap hit. Now, I'm not too confident about a contract extension, but maybe a 1-year extension to kind of split up the money a little bit and show Chubb they want to commit to him for at least 2024. As for Deshaun Watson, I mean, he signed a 5-year deal, so he has 3 more years remaining. Myles Garrett will just keep getting new contracts every time he's 2 years away from having his deal expire. So Myles Garrett hopefully will be here for his entire NFL career. Watson hopefully, gets on track in 2024 and he signs a contract extension. They can spread his cap hits out a little bit. But Nick Chubb, that's the, wild card here. And I don't think we're going to see Nick Chubb in Cleveland. I don't want to say beyond 2024 because I want it to happen, but I've got my concerns. Josh, what's going on, dude? We need a Mike Evans type receiver to better complement Coop. Mike Williams would be the closest to that. Yeah, going to get a guy like Mike Evans would be a lot of fun because he's a jump ball style receiver. And Deshaun Watson, you think about what he loves to do. He loves to throw the football past the camera lens, right? Make the camera guy pan over. And Mike Evans on the receiving end, him and Amari Cooper would be great together. I don't know if Mike Evans would bring something to this wide receiver room that they don't already have in Amari Cooper. I think they'd rather go with a more speedy guy, and Evans at this point of his career probably does not have that same level of speed he had early on, but I'm definitely not going to throw hissy fit if they were to sign Mike Evans, a future Hall of Fame wide receiver. Now, before we get on to the rest of our mailbag today, it is brought to you by Factor. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you are ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Forget frantic lunch preps and rush dinners. Factor's 2-minute meals are your secret weapon in the new year. Fuel up fast with restaurant-quality meals all delivered right to your door. Factor also has everything you need for a week of flavorful, nutritional eats. In addition to ready-to-eat meals, they have cold-pressed juices, smoothies, energy bites, extra protein, veggie sides, and much more to keep you energized during frantic times. So head to factormeals.com/BrownsChat50 and use code BrownsChat50 to get 50% off. That's code BrownsChat50 at factormeals.com/BrownsChat50 to get 50% off. Super chat coming in here from James. Would you keep Flacco, eat a bunch of money, and trade Watson to get a couple of first-rounders back? James, you're not going to get a couple of first-rounders for Deshaun Watson, and the Browns are expressing a ton of confidence and belief in Deshaun Watson. He's their quarterback for 2024. No question about it. Creative Juice. Do you think the Browns should use Watson to run the ball as much as Allen or Lamar Jackson does? Or would you rather he learn to slide, throw the ball away, and be a pocket passer first? I do think Deshaun Watson offers you some awesome escapability and some great impromptu runs and scrambles. But I do think that this past season, the Browns probably learned, like, hey, $230 million QB, maybe we dial it back on the rushes, because after the beating he took to his shoulder, I'm guessing they're going to reel it in a little bit more. Ultimately, Watson, and Stump Mitchell said this great in his interview with Cameron Justice, the guy's a passer. He wants to throw the football. He wants to throw it first. That is priority number one. If he finds some running opportunities, so be it. He's athletic and he can run well. But goal number one should be, and has been, and always will be, hopefully, throw the football. Joshua Miller, should we target Tony Pollard as RB2? He wasn't good as an RB1 and may get a down-year discount. Josh, this is a really interesting question because Tony Pollard this past season for the Cowboys was pretty underwhelming. If you had him on your fantasy team, you know what I'm talking about. And I don't know if – actually, I do know. Like, if Nick Chubb returns, like, that would be a really good 1-2 punch. Chubb and Pollard. So, Josh, the more I think about it, the more I can kind of get behind, like, Tony Pollard last season or 2 seasons ago. He was the number one back for stretches over Zeke, and I think he did a good job in that role. Ultimately, the Cowboys just could not figure out their ground game for a handful of reasons, but Tony Pollard in Cleveland, that's got a pretty good ring to it next to Nick Chubb. I like this one, Josh, a lot. I'm in. All right, Josh Miller with a $2 super chat. Top 5 breakfast foods. If I'm at a breakfast buffet, I'll tell you what I'm hitting first. I love the omelet station. I'm going pancakes, bacon, French toast. I prefer pancakes and French toast over waffles, but waffles are great too. And I'll also toss in, I love oatmeal. Unpopular opinion, I love oatmeal. So I'd go, oatmeal is probably not top 5, but on my top 5 list, I include that in my breakfast buffet selection right there. Okay, let's wrap up the show with a pick a card moment here. Does that sound good to you, Trace? So, pick a card time now. Get in the comment section right now and do your best to make a card selection as we bring on Trizzy Trace to make his pick. What are you going with?
I'm liking the 9 of diamonds.
9 of diamonds?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the 5 of spades.
Let's see it.
4 diamonds.
Oh.
4 of diamonds. Okay, that's going to do it for us on our mailbag today. Thank you so much to everyone who tunes in all week long. You guys are the best. You're the MVPs. You're the real ones. We will sign off, and we will see you all later.